What up? What up?
Woo, coming to you live from the OG.
Oh, man.
Bro, this is the first spot I think we sat in when we did our very first episode.
Yes. Yeah. I
I
was right here. I think I didn't have a laptop. I think I had a notebook with me.
Throwback Thursday, because it's past midnight. So we doing a Throwback Thursday. Yeah, you didn't have we had a notebook, I think.
I had a notebook.
We had a coffee table, and we were drinking wine back then.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We haven't done wine in a long time.
So
man.
we taking it back to the OG spot for this week, man.
Absolutely. Welcome back, everybody, to the Carpet Football Podcast. He is Swan, and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether it be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with a drink of the day,
dude. I just realized I don't know that I came up with a name for this, but then
it's just good, bro.
It's really good. Let me tell y'all what's in it first. So we wanted to, we've been doing the summer drinks with a lot of rums and stuff. We broke it up a little bit with an old fashioned, but wanted to take it back to a summer drink. So we got a little summer drink. This is 2 ounces of bourbon. We did some Maker's Mark this week.
What are we calling this thing?
And that's what I'm trying to think of. I had a name for it. It's a Ponton. It's a variation of a drink called a Ponton Smash. Is what it was. But I had a different name for it that I'm drawing a blank on now. Where I felt like I wanted to call it an absinthe smash, or like a pineapple bourbon smash or something like that.
Okay.
I guess
anyway, just give them the ingredients.
We'll go with Pontus, man. We'll come up with something. But the ingredients, it's 2 ounces of Maker's Mark. You do a bar spoon of absinthe, an ounce of pineapple juice, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, and then about 6 to 8 mint leaves in a shaker. Throw everything in there. No need to crack or muddle anything first. The ice will do the work. So in a shaker filled with ice, all the ingredients, shake it up vigorously. Well, it's about 6 to 8 seconds, I would say, is like the vigorously or well done. And then pour it in a glass filled with ice and garnish with a mint leaf. And it's a refreshing drink that you would normally expect, like pineapple and lemon and all that, to go with rum. Yep. So we threw in the bourbon and a little bit of absinthe, which I thought was like gives it that little bit of a different taste.
What does that taste like by itself? The
absinthe is almost like God. We should have brought the bottle in here to do it. Trying to think, because it's not quite licorice-y, but it's a very so absinthe is like gin, where there's like a very herbal type, and then like a very botanical-y, like, and then like flowery. So there's like it's sort of like that. In that sort of like frame.
When you said licorice, I'm thinking like Sambuca.
But you never do a lot. No, not quite.
It's not like that, right?
But there are versions of it that could be sort of like that. And the thing about the absinthe too is like you never do a whole lot of it. You know? Like this is like it's almost like a bar spoon, really. Like the recipe calls for like almost half of a quarter, which is like an eighth, I guess, of an ounce. Like it's really small. It's like really tiny.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just enough to give it that subtle. It's so potent. It's just you want that subtle sort of kick to it. But yeah, it's good. I just wanted to try something different. We've never tried those ingredients sort of together with I've never done bourbon and absinthe together. I know we've done absinthe on the podcast before. I don't think I did it with bourbon. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But yeah, it was I thought it was a cool recipe. I liked it. The reason I didn't want to use the Ponton Smash name was because I think we used a different type of absinthe, and they were very particular about that absinthe. And then
gotcha.
But I'd say right now we'll call it the Ponton Smash, Ponton. So if you guys Google that, it should come up if you want to see it, and then or just look at our IGs, which you should be doing, or TikTok.
Damn right, it'll be up to people, the recipe, everything. So check it out. This is definitely a good poolside drink, and I think the picture that we're going to put up there is going to have that ambiance.
It absolutely
behind it.
It's good. I like it. The mint's refreshing. The pineapple, again, something you would expect with rum.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good, man.
All right, man. My compliment of the week is going out to Georgia Tech, the university in Georgia. They have developed a 3D printed tracheal splint, and this is to treat. I guess there's this condition called, I'm probably gonna butcher this, tracheomalacia. Tracheomalacia. It's a condition in about 1 in 2,100 children are born with this. So it's like the most common inherited birth defect of the windpipe. And so this condition occurs when I'm going to read this off. Occurs when the cartilage in the trachea or windpipe is weak or floppy, causing the windpipe's walls to collapse and restrict breathing. So these things are made from like bioabsorbable material, and it sort of holds the trachea in place, kind of like a splint with a bone.
Okay.
And then as the cartilage develops, then eventually the splint is ultimately like absorbed by the body. So kind of it almost like gives the body a chance to kind of heal itself.
And then it just it
And
kind
then
of
it just
biodegrades.
goes away.
The body just goes away. Wow. Okay.
So they tested this on like 4 kids successfully.
And it's something common in kids.
It says 1 in every 2,100.
Wow. Like what causes it?
It's just something. It's a birth defect.
So it just okay. Yeah. So they don't really know. It's just like some. Wow.
Yeah, it's just a birth defect of the windpipe.
It's so random, man. Like
So it is. It's super random, but it's one of those things that like you go
well, it's just
right.
the things you don't think about.
You just
yeah.
don't fucking think about.
But
man.
you know, there's some people, obviously 1 in 2,100, but there's someone out there who's just like over the moon that something like this is available.
Yep.
Or going, I wish I had that. You know, at a
I wish I had that. Yeah, I wish I had that when we were kids or whatever. Like because I don't. What I didn't read on was how they treated this in the past. I wish I would have done that. Because typically, right, it's just like the things like, especially things like this where it's not common and they don't have good treatments for it. It's either like, you know, a lot of pills, or you're on fucking breathing machines, or, you know, there's other shit that you have to do, and then something like this comes along finally. And it's like, oh my God, like where was this?
Yeah, like you said,
where was this 20 years ago?
Before, is it just like a hope and pray and, you know, whatever, like you just...
No, I think there was, I'm pretty sure that I read that there was treatments, or there are treatments.
Okay.
But the treatments, you know, definitely not like this.
Not like, okay. That's wild, man. It's funny, man. You said Georgia Tech, and I just don't associate them with that. And obviously it's tech, right? So it's obviously they're high STEM, what do you call that? Like enrollment and focus. But I immediately went Calvin Johnson School. Like,
of course you did.
Yeah, man. I was like Megatron. I was like, he went back.
This is actually developed by Megatron.
Yeah. Actually, he went back. NFL money and sponsored this study.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's awesome, man. Dude, it's funny, man. I'll see these medical breakthroughs all the time, and then sometimes it'll be something like I've either never heard of, or you know, you don't know anyone who was affected by it or whatever, and you know, like I think the quick reaction is to be like, well, who cares, or like, who does that affect? But it's like, no, clearly there's someone down the line. Like, we're just sort of going down this checklist of things that we can eradicate or just make better, or, you know, like this to someone will mean the world,
right?
Like, it's always fascinating to me. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing.
No, man, me neither. But when I saw this, and again, this thing is it's 3D printed.
So which technology?
It's nuts, right? So it's just like the 3D printing technology, and then having the right material that's essentially like almost like, you know, it's like biodegradable in your body.
It's just crazy, dude. The 3D printing thing is really. It reminds me. So when I was say a teen, and we had I guess regular printers, or even like we were burning CDs or downloading music, and it would take you fucking 7 hours to get a song. And you know how 3D printing now would be like, oh, it takes 14 days to print a cup, you know, like whatever it is, like from a 3D printer. And you know, it's just getting progressively faster and progressively better. And
dude, they're 3D printing houses.
Yeah. It's just like, this is going to change so much. Yep. And then I think especially in the medical field, you've seen so many different things where it's like they're creating joints and bolts and you know, esophagus pieces, tracheas, and you know what, it's just like, wow, like it's so nuts that something that, you know, the application for it, I don't know that it was thought of to be this, but it's just, it opens these possibilities to stuff like that. And I love when, like, you know, like in the medical field, when people just embrace, I think, technologies that wouldn't be thought of to be like, oh, what's the medical application for that? Like, I've seen 3D printing in car, you know,
like for car parts, right?
And yeah, like where people custom make car parts for something. because it doesn't exist, or it's cheaper to just make it yourself, or you get the schematics offline, it's things like that, or it's like I've seen it a lot in like classic cars where they don't make the parts anymore, and then they find the schematics.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
right.
and it's cool, and it's not always foolproof because again, it just gets better over time. But it's always cool to me to see like the medical field, whenever they embrace some type of new technology that maybe wasn't necessarily targeted to be that, and then you sort of find this application for it, man. That's so cool. So shout out to those guys, Georgia Tech, man, being innovative with stuff like that, man.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, man.
All right, what you got?
Listen, man, keeping it high class like you. Carl Pipper's going out to Pitbull.
Well, we're staying in the South.
Mr. Worldwide. I picked Pitbull this week. I guess they made an announcement that FIU, Florida International University, signed a stadium deal with Pitbull to name the stadium after him. Basically, it's going to be called Pitbull Arena or Pitbull, whatever it's going to be called. But it's going to be named after him. He's paying something like $1.2 million.
It's going to be called "Give Me Everything."
Yo, bro, give me. I thought it'd be funny as fuck, like Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, some shit, or Dale Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Like
Worldwide Stadium.
Yeah. But then I go, do you associate Worldwide with him? Because if you're him, the whole point of paying, I think he's paying 1.2, 1.5 something. It's like the low million a year. It's cheap.
And it's because they're a smaller college, right?
Yeah. But
they're kind of like up and coming, right? Like
yes, okay. Because that's where Lane Kiffin was for a little while, right? And then they have like decent coaches now, and or is it Florida Atlantic? No, I think it's
I don't
FIU,
remember, but I think it's FIU.
Yeah. But like you said, they're up and coming. It is in that Miami area. So I think that it was just to me, just it's a symbol of what's to come, and the doors that sort of open up for other things. Like, like the stadium naming rights thing is something that's very new sort of in our, stadiums used to be named after like the city or the team.
Yes.
Or like, and in the last couple decades, we've seen them switch to people figured out, hey, I could monetize this. And then they started being named after sponsorship.
Is that because the city doesn't want, so like in, Chicago is one that comes to mind, right? It's Soldier Field. Like who's sponsoring that? Is that the city?
No one. I think it's just you call the stadium that because they never sold the rights.
They never sold the rights.
I think so. And no quote me on that, but it's been called Soldier Field right since like the 50s or whatever, right?
I mean as long as I remember.
As long as it's been around. And so they just haven't sold the stadium rights. It's like Lambeau Field. I don't know. Will they ever sell the naming rights to that? It's such an iconic.
I would imagine not that place because I think in Green Bay isn't the like the city, the people in the city have ownership.
Yeah, it's like a publicly owned team. Yeah. But yeah, and there are still teams like that, like Giant Stadium. Remember for the longest time, and then they went with
what is it? MetLife.
Yeah,
that's right.
But and there was Yankee Stadium is still called Yankee Stadium, but who knows? Like one day it might be called fucking Model Sports or whatever. It'd be weird, but or WB Mason Stadium or whatever. Because you see the ads all. But like, it's just become a thing, and I get it. It's just another avenue for revenue. You and I have both been part of a place that did get a stadium rights deal, and we've seen sort of the dollars that corporations are willing to pay for these naming rights, which at first was like shocking to me. And the numbers I was seeing back then are starting to look like discounts now. Yeah. And again, Pitbull got a good deal. Because
phenomenal deal.
Yeah, and then if you don't know, like usually with these stadium deals, it includes like, hey, yes, he's paying for the naming rights to it, and then it's like he probably would pay more if it holds a certain type of event, say like a bowl game or whatever.
Yep.
But then every time you have a press conference in the stadium, or you're in the stadium and you talk about it and whatever, like they have to reference it by name.
Yep.
And obviously the data shows that does work. The marketing to that works. Yeah. It's the same reason a NASCAR driver goes on, oh, the M&M Chevy performed well, or Toyota or whatever. Like
makes sense.
It works, right? So, but I think what this did was it went, oh wait, you don't just have to do names of companies, and I guess Pitbull is in himself a company, he's an entity, right? But like, do other artists sort of grasp onto this, and then where do you draw the line? Like it can literally be anything. Now, I think it's just another thing where like, oh, this is going to change the landscape of the economics of live venue, live entertainment venues, really.
Right.
Not just sports, it's right, like concerts, it's everything. So
Yeah, and I think that even with and I don't know that FIU has any TV deals. I would imagine not. But if they do, I think part of these kind of deals is that when they go to commercial and come back from commercial, they're focusing on the name of the stadium. So if it's Pitbull, like they have to, they kind of you cut to it before commercial, and then you cut to it when you come back from commercial.
Dude, but if they get like a high profile game, say ESPN has to air it, right? Every time these guys reference it, that's like, oh, coming to you live from Pitbull Stadium, whatever. It's like that, and I'm sure they have some kind of TV deal, like maybe it's like Sun Sports Timu or fucking, I don't know what. Like
I'm waiting for the fucking Timu Stadium, bro.
Oh, it's coming, right? It has to be, right? Because the Wish is already like a sponsor of the Lakers, which is wild to me. And even the jersey thing, I remember like international soccer embraced the jersey thing with it was hilarious to me. Like you would go to a sporting goods store and you would buy a soccer jersey for Manchester United or FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, and it would have the fucking logo to a company across it.
Yeah.
And we thought it was so weird and so foreign, and now you're seeing it on NBA jerseys. I'm starting to see MLB jerseys do it. The WNBA, I think, embraced it really early on because obviously they had to. Yeah. The NFL did it for practice jerseys like first.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think they do it on their normal jerseys yet, but that's inevitable.
It's coming, bro.
Yeah, anytime you can monetize, any of these little avenues, and there's just so much money in it, man. And yeah, I just thought this is one of those things where you go, it's just going to change the landscape of, I think, entertainment and naming rights and what else. Dude, what else could you do? You name sections. You already know. We already do name sections in stadiums and arenas after things like, the Kia, fucking Uprising, section or whatever.
Right.
Or, like whatever. Like people call, I know the Tampa Bay Bucks have certain sections in their stadium where they're named after like, maybe it's a kids organization or whatever. But I do think there's going to be opportunities for that on a global scale where you can name sections. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars here locally have like that pool that's inside of their stadium.
Yeah.
You can get tickets.
Is there a name for that?
No, but why wouldn't you? Like, hey, we're coming to you from, whatever, fucking Everbank pool or fucking Wells Fargo, dip, like whatever. Like, it's just, I think you just, we're proving that more and more, like, no matter how small, you could have just a row that's, going to be this one day. I think it might sound silly now, but, I think if you'd have asked us 5 years ago, is there going to be such thing as a Pitbull Stadium? We would have been like, nah.
And like you say, even before that, right? So just to go to the company names,
yeah,
because the company name sometimes, if it's like MetLife, like that shit sounds corny.
It does, dude. Staples Center. How long was it known as the Staples Center, right? Which probably was corny at the time, but it became the home of the Lakers. Staples Center. And then when they changed it to crypto, we were like, nah, that's weird.
Is that what it is now?
And then it's like the crypto center or whatever. It's like, but now it's the crypto center. But it was.
What's the Miami Heat?
They've changed it. It's that really popular. It starts with a K, I think. Kaseya.
Oh,
it's
shit.
It's a software company or whatever.
Weren't they a crypto? What they named?
They were, but it was the crypto one that went.
The one that went. Yeah.
The dude got arrested. Yeah. Fucking Binance or whatever. Not Binance. I'm getting it wrong, but sorry, Binance. But it's just one of them. Maybe it was backed by Binance. But anyway, it wasn't them. But yeah, it used to be American Airlines, right? At one point, and then I think American Airlines is Dallas now. And then even New Orleans Superdome, right? It's called the Mercedes Superdome now. Like,
shit, that's right.
Yeah. Man, anyway, that's probably too long.
Shout out to Pitbull, man.
But shout out Pitbull, man. I think breaking barriers, obviously, for a genre of music, breaking barriers for, I think, the Latino community. I wouldn't say just like single the Latinos. It's just like hip hop culture, right, or pop culture, because Pitbull is always known to sort of be a cross genre artist, right? Yeah. I don't think any of us look at Pitbull and think he's a rapper. I think we just look at him as a music artist. He makes pop music generally, with like some hip hop, I guess, sort of influence to it.
And dude, not for nothing, man. My youngest son is a Pitbull fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, like do they still play his stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know if he still makes music. I imagine that he still does, but I don't know. Like I don't listen to the radio. I kind of.
But he makes a lot of bangers,
like,
a lot of party bangers.
But
yeah,
absolutely.
And you know, man, it's funny. Not to go too fucking long on Pitbull, but like there's a lot of business and there's videos and stuff that he'll talk, and he talks about his philosophies on that. And one of the things I really love is his like philosophy on cell phones and stuff. And as I've become sort of more conscious about like my use of cell phone and how I wish I can sort of like detach myself more from it. Him just saying like, you know, like he doesn't want to be a slave to the phone. So like, he's like, a lot of times he's like, yeah, I'm kind of unreachable. Like I just don't, and that's becoming sort of more and more the thing where I'm seeing it from a lot of famous people who are just saying like, I have a flip phone again. I can't even download apps on it. Like, you know, I'm doing, you know, people are becoming more and more detached, I think, from stuff as we're, you know, what we talked about last week. I think as we're realizing that a lot of these things really aren't good for us from a mental health standpoint and all that. Like anything's fine in moderation, but, you know, I think what we're starting to realize is I think a lot of this stuff keeps us from being a better versions of ourselves. Like the amount of time we spend on a phone where you could be, you know, spending time with your kids or spending time doing something for yourself to improve yourself, you know, whatever it is. It's like he had just these great philosophies about how and then like a true rapper had like lyrics about how you know, one thing he says is like, hey, an apple, like look at the back of your phone, it's like a bitten off apple. You know, and he compares it to like the Adam and Eve thing. And it's like, you know, it's like this weird, you know, it's like he's making these cool connections, but it's almost like the forbidden fruit and like the drug thing that like, he's like, yo, this is meant to sort of like keep you as a prisoner.
You know what's funny, man? They say that. I wonder what was the original idea behind that logo. Like, if it's Apple, why not just the apple? Why the bite?
Oh, I'm sure there has to be.
And was it related to that?
Yeah, I'm sure there has to be like a story that's been talked about ad nauseum. I'm sure it has to be, right? Like there has to be a.
There has
I don't know
to be
it.
something.
There has to be something. Yeah,
but you know, like is it biblical related?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah, and I had never thought about that until he said something about that, and I was like, oh wow, like yeah. But yeah, no, he's cool, and even he talked about people like going out with him, where you know, or flying with him, or traveling with him, where it's just like no, everybody like turn your phones off. And he's very much of like be present in the moment. Like we're gonna have some fun, dope. But none of you guys are gonna have pictures, and none of you guys are gonna have videos about the fun we're having and all that stuff. And I'm like, I like this. I dig this. Like it is
cool.
Could do that.
And let me tell you, man, there's something to like a memory, right? And like a memory, and then the feeling behind that memory, and then what you remember may not even be, you know, exactly what transpired, but the fact that you have that feeling of that memory and that and that's what you remember.
Yeah. And
maybe the things that you know, the actual event may not have transpired exactly as you remember, but the fact that the feeling behind it is you know, comes out in the story when you retell it.
Dude, there was a point in time, I'm sure we've talked about this on here before, where I was looking at photos of really cool places or moments or things, and I don't remember anything about them. And it was because I was looking at them through the lens of the phone while I was snapping the photos and the video.
Yeah,
and it was so many of them, right? And I found myself kind of sad, like looking at it going, man, I don't remember what that feeling, like what you were just saying, I don't remember what that feeling was like. And then making a conscious effort to go like, yeah, I want to get photos and videos when I'm doing these things. But I'm actually just going to put the phone like there. I take a photo. If it's cool, it's cool. If not, it's not. But I want to remember what it felt like to see this with my own eyes.
Yeah.
And what it smelled like and what it, you know, like how did it feel on my skin? And, you know, like, and there was this one trip that I took. I'm pretty sure it was London. I won't say the name of the type of camera because I feel like they should have to pay for that. But I use this camera.
I know which one you're talking
about.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a handheld. It wasn't a cell phone. It was like this handheld camera. It had a gyroscope on it and all that stuff. And I remember just walking around, and I would just hit, you know, like one button, and it would just record. And then I could, you know, double tap it or whatever, and I would take pictures and whatever it was. And I got great footage of the trip. But most of the trip, I remember the feeling. I remember the walks. I remember the sounds. I remember the smells. I remember, you know, like conversations. And you know, and looking at the photos, I remember the moments. And I was like, okay, this is a great way to capture this. And also, you're not looking through the lens. Like the lens on this or the screen on this was so small, I didn't want to look at it through that. I wanted to see it with my eyes. Right. But I was still able to capture it. So I was still able to go back and go like, oh, this is cool. And so it was like one of those things where I'm like, man, that's the thing I'm going to use now when I do trips like that. because I wanted to be in those moments more and remember those moments.
Dude, I've done that too, even with my like I have one son that plays sports, and of course, like as a dad, I wanna catch moments, on the phone, but I do catch myself where I just go like, no man, like I want to watch, so I tend to forego the phone. Because I want to watch because I want that, right? Like I want to see it live. I want that feeling of, if he scores, like I want to remember that.
Yeah.
And in the same respect, I also want to get it on video because I want to be able to play it back 100 times. But there is something to looking at it through the lens versus just looking at it through your own lenses, your eyes.
No, absolutely, man. So yeah, shout out Pitbull doing that, and then giving us some of these life lessons. That's something to think about with some of this stuff. Life and business and
absolutely
and all that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this does to sort of the landscape of just live entertainment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And dude, staying with the stadiums, bro. Olympics this week. I was at the Olympics last week as well. Noah Lyles broke a basically like a 20-year curse, man.
No American had won the 100-meter, right?
Correct. Fastest, unofficially, right? The fastest man in the world. The person who wins the 100-meter, man or woman, is known as the fastest man or woman on the planet. And Noah Lyles tweaked it out. He won by 5 thousandths of a second. That's 0.005.
Dude, that's short. That's like a tenth of a blink. Like it's insane.
I was gonna say, it's faster than a blink.
Yeah. Like how quick or how the differentiator there. It's like literally, like if we're both side by side and my shirt just happens to be just a hair like further in front because of the way the wind hits it or whatever. Then
it's insane.
It's insane. But listen, the win. It doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. A win's a win, and you're talking. I think at this level, for the most part, you're talking about that level of separation. It speaks to like the Usain Bolt's like dominance, right? Because I think we're so used to someone winning in that fashion, but that's not normal,
right? And you saying so? The last time the U.S. had it, it was Justin Gatt.
Yeah.
Right, in 2004, and then in 2008, 12, and 16 were all Usain Bolt. And I think through that time period, we got used to him dominating the field.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
You go, holy shit! I think the Jamaican guy's head, which is Thompson, crossed first.
Dude, there was a shot where they go. The person who was last was immediately ruled out. They couldn't rule on 1 through 7 yet. That's insane, bro. As long as it took to rule who the winner was,
right?
It took them to place the rest of the field because that's how close it was. And it was, and I think it was a lesson for like people who don't watch track and field of like, a lot of, for me especially, I remember live going, well, everyone else's foot and head got across the finish line first, and then of course they're talking and they're like, hey, the rules, the chest is sort of, and I wasn't even,
which has been like that forever.
Yeah. At the time when I'm hearing it, I'm going, oh yeah, I have heard that before, but it wasn't. I didn't think about that. I'm thinking of a race. I go, yo, body part is across first, right?
But it makes sense, right? Which is why racers don't reach their arms out.
Correct. Right? You don't do right. Exactly. And and it was what an exciting dude. I'm glad you hit me up on it. I would have missed it if you hadn't hit me up. I would have missed it. And I watched the women's the day before, and spectacular. I watched all the semifinals. I watched the women's finals and great races. And dude, the Caribbeans fucking dominate anything that has to do with speed. And then the countries that have to either chase their food or the people are food, they dominate the long distances. Like all those countries dominate all the fucking marathons and all that stuff. But generally, the Caribbeans have it on lock. And on the women's side, that didn't change, right? Like the girl from Saint Lucia was so much faster than everybody else.
Yeah, like she kind of pulled like a Usain Bolt type win.
Yeah.
where she was just, head and
pulled away.
shoulders ahead of the field.
Dude, with no allows, like going back to that, he was last halfway through the race.
Yeah, well, I think within I saw the breakdown. It was like after the first 30 meters, he's dead last.
Dead last, yeah.
And then he puts the speed on, and there's a point in the race where he is running 27.1 miles per hour.
It's fucking crazy.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, dude. Dude, if you think about like go ride a bike 27 miles per hour.
Oh, most people
you'll
can't.
see, right? And you'll see like, yo, like it's really impressive. And I know when we watch it on TV, I don't think you even get like the like you can't grasp that kind of running speed.
No, I think until you see it come by you, like you don't.
Right.
And I think, what's cool is the 100-meter dash is like sort of the sexiest marquee event for the Olympics.
Yep.
It's like the one that we all look forward to. Like, yeah, like, we're happy to see the gymnastics stuff. And, Team USA, Dream Team, that the basketball. But the track has always been you turn off the lights, prime time. Even it's
And
funny.
they do
Even
that
the
in the
intro
stadium.
for it was different. Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like running out there full speed in his intro, and they're playing music, and they shut off the lights. I go, even they know this is the event. Like nothing else went all out like that for intros for the
No, they actually
athletes.
so they are doing that for from what I've seen of like the finals of like the
gold medal.
of like the bigger races.
Got you.
Like the finals of the bigger races. They're kind of doing the intros. They did it, for the women's like 200, the women's 200. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is also won by an American. Which we are officially at this point. We have the most gold, the most silver, and the most bronze.
Oh, did we pass in the gold
Yes.
as well? Okay. Yeah, because I'm, going back to Lyles, his sort of he gets faster as the race progresses.
Yes.
And so he's the favorite now for the 200 meter,
Correct.
I would think.
Yeah,
And-
that is like his signature event.
Yes, and because the 100 isn't his thing, and he talked a lot of shit about the being there. And dude, funny man, when the race took off, I went, "Oh man, you're like you said." But the first 30, I went, "Oh, you got smoked, bro."
Yeah.
I thought the Jamaican was gonna get it. Anytime I see a Jamaican and it has to do with speed, I'm like, just give up, bro. Like,
You got PTSD from both.
yeah, bro. He's just so much faster. It's just so much faster than everybody. It just didn't make sense. But it also makes you appreciate that more when you see someone like that so dominant, and you go and you see this guy, no lie, who's like world class, like you said, the 27 miles an hour. It's like that's superhuman speed. It doesn't even make sense. It shouldn't compute. Like most of us, go in your car and go 27 miles an hour and think about a human running next to you at that speed. It's fucking crazy. Do it with the windows down because it won't feel the same. But it's fast, dude. And I think we take for granted when these things are close like that, just how freakish these guys really are, and how the just that little bit of a hair of a separation is the difference between being a gold medalist and silver or bronze or nothing. It's like.
And so by the time this podcast comes out, the 200 will be over. It's airing on Thursday. I think it's at 2:30. I think I said.
Yeah, and he should win.
It's his event. But I'll tell you what, man. They had the semifinals today, and there is another American, and his last name it's a little tricky to pronounce, so it escapes me. But there's actually like 3 Americans that are going to be in it. But there's one guy he came in 4th place in the 100. Again, his name escapes me, but he looks really determined.
Like he wants one to.
Like he wants this 200. So it's going to be really interesting. Now, at the press conference after the 100, they were interviewing the top 3 guys, right? And when they asked Noah Lyles about the 200, he said, "When I turn that corner, the rest of the field is going to be depressed." So he's standing on it. He's standing
which is what we want to see, man.
I love it, bro.
I love athletes that talk shit and then go and back it up. Yeah, I love that, dude. I think that was one of the things with Sha'Carri Richardson that was like sort of disappointing, because it was like you can't be sort of a controversial figure and then not back it up. And then she finally had sort of an Olympic medal to sort of back up that smack. But I will say, I know it's hard, and I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here. Like, giving these, Noah Lyles credit and even the guys that came second, but I was kind of disappointed at her silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, it's not even it's the shit talking, it's the bravado, and again, it's like you're the second quote unquote fastest woman in the world.
Right.
Like that's not. I know it's an achievement in itself. Like I can sort of like respect that, but I think because of the I think of the baggage that comes with being her and the controversial figure and the suspension at the last Olympics and the media coverage and all that stuff. It's like, no, you have to be the best. Like,
the way I took it was like, she was suspended in the last Olympics and because of the THC, right? So I'm assuming she smoked some weed and then popped and then whatever.
Which she should have been allowed to race, because if you beat people on weed, it should count more. They should shave half a second off your time. Weed makes you slower, people, in every way, shape, or form.
But I thought about it and I go like, okay, you were disqualified, if in the Tokyo Olympics. You come to this one, you get the silver, so you kind of taste the medal.
Yeah.
And I go, so now I'm looking to 28 to go. Did it make you hungry?
Yeah, she's young. Yeah. Right? The girl that just won the 200 for the United States, her name
Gabby
is slipping my mind.
Something.
Yeah, again, 27 years old, just won the 200 meter, Harvard educated, is phenomenal athlete, and she smokes everyone too. And hers, like, it wasn't
man,
even close.
She smoked even the girl from St. Lucia.
Yes,
which is the 100 meter winner.
Crazy, because that girl from St. Lucia was so fast. Dude, I saw the girl from St. Lucia in a semi, and I went, "Oh, she won!" Like I literally called that like 2 hours beforehand. I went, the way she smoked
Gabby Thomas.
Gabby Thomas. Yeah, shout out to her, man. Like, but the girl from St. Lucia, why am I? Her name's
I'm gonna get her name
right now. But yeah, she was. I saw her race early on in the semis, and she was so much better than everybody, even in that. And I was like, oh, she just looks different.
Julian Alfred.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to her, man.
Which by the way, leads me to this, bro. Like, Julian Alfred, she goes to University of Texas, I believe.
Dude, they're all Americans.
Dude, there's so many athletes that are competing for other countries that live and train here.
Yeah. But it's easier to make the Olympic. We only have so many roster spots, so it's easier to make an Olympic team for there. And also, some of them I know have the pride of a home country or whatever.
That's I think a lot of it is that, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you figure her, right? She could make an American team clearly.
Yo.
Right. The other guy, the guy who set the record for pole vaulting. It's Armand Duplantis.
Yeah.
He actually he goes to LSU.
Dude, what a fucking name for a pole vaulter. Duplantis? Bro. If that's not like manifesting what your kid is gonna be, bro, come on. Bro, it's like naming your kid Bolt. Like the last kid. I mean, I know you don't name him that, right? That's the last name. But Usain Bolt. Like, it's like, that's your name, and you end up being the fucking fastest human guy on the planet. It's just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, he broke the record, bro. 20 and a half feet. And it was so cool because so there was an American that actually came in that got the silver. But you could see them cheering. He was cheering this guy on, and they were so happy that this dude. And then he messes up the first. He get like 3 chances. He messes up the first 2, and then fucking nails the last one to break his own record. So I thought that was fucking amazing.
And he's not. Who tried to like? There was a guy who tried to pole vault with his dick.
As a Frenchman, Anthony, what the hell is his name? Anthony Amirati.
Yo, shout out to the French. I didn't know they built y'all like that, man. Like, he didn't even use the stick. He just whipped his dick out. And then it cost him a medal because the dick hit the pole.
Yeah, I think he came in 12th. For those of you who did not see this, this Frenchman, Anthony Amirati, 21-year-old, he was trying 5.7 meters, and on his third attempt, his dick, which he has a good sized package. I gotta give him the credit.
Yeah, the dick was fluffed up.
He got fluffed before he
Think he got
fucking-
fluffed before? You know, Olympic Villages is a bunch of like world class athletes hanging around. Maybe some shit was going on beforehand.
So this guy, he actually gets over the pole, and his dick lands on the pole essentially, and knocks the pole down.
Oh, this shit was so funny, bro. Also, the best way to lose a medal ever. Like,
I'm sure he was pissed.
nah, bro. Fuck that. For the rest of your life, all the time. Like, I was an Olympian, but my dick kept me from clearing this
Getting
pole. I
gold.
couldn't get a medal. I would have won gold. That's fucking wild. That's better than the gold medal, bro.
When they asked him, he quote, and I quote, he says, "I was 100% physically, but I was missing a bit of the pole vault."
Yo, do you get a taller stick? Like, how do you handle that? You're not allowed
You
to.
gotta,
Right? Like,
you
there's a
gotta
certain
push
regulated,
yourself like further away from it, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta tape your dick down if you're
That's
in
it.
next time. You gotta tuck it. You gotta transition,
That's it, bro.
transition pre-event. Like, bro,
Oh man,
that shit was so funny. And then he got an offer from a porn company afterward. Did you see this shit? Oh, it was amazing. The porn company offered him. They're like, "Oh, we know you didn't win gold," but they offered him like a contract and shit. You know, a couple
250K.
250K to shoot a video with them or something, or do a live stream with them.
And let me tell you, and different countries have different, which I think you mentioned last week. I think about the amount of money.
Yes, yeah.
Right, that you get like per medal, and there's different. It varies by country.
Yeah, the dude that just won the gold for the Philippines, first male ever, by the way. I think he owns the Philippines now, or whatever. They gave him the country. Some shit like that. Anyway, go.
Didn't he get like an apartment?
Bro, an apartment and a house.
He got money.
And furniture,
Okay.
and money, and like unlimited food at certain places, and fucking donuts, and
Yeah,
it's a bunch of shit. Yeah,
Get out of jail free card.
Yeah, it's like all kinds of shit. Yeah, bro. Fucking like, yeah, he can't catch cancer. It's
It's
astronomical.
It's
bro.
not even allowed.
Yeah, it's not even allowed. They're like, no. It'll just skip you.
But meanwhile, I think in the United States, if you get a gold medal, what is it, 37,000? I want to say.
That's because we're fucking getting all of them.
Yeah. So, this dude was offered $250,000. If you're that guy, I would imagine. First, I go, do you do it? But then you go, if you did it, then as a 21-year-old to come back 4 years later, maybe they're not allowing you to do it
Why not?
because
of that
because the societal.
I would think there's a
fucking-
quality, or there's a qualifying thing that allows you. Like, I don't know, is there a morality clause for the Olympics? Maybe there is, because there's
It's a good question.
There's a chick that just about to, that I heard got kicked off.
What was
the team?
I saw it, but I
They
didn't
just
see what it
said
was for.
she was inappropriate behavior and she was being a distraction in the Olympic Village to her team and all that. It's a girl from Paraguay. I can't think of her name now, but also goes to SMU swimming.
Dude,
She's a swimmer, another American, basically, and obviously representing, probably like her home country or whatever, or her roots in Paraguay. But she got kicked out for whatever, like they never really say. By the way, first person I've ever seen where they're showing pictures of her and telling the story,
Yeah.
and I went, "How do you look worse in your bathing suit? Put your jeans back on." I was like, that's wild. But dude, this guy, like, it depends what you're asking me to do. Am I just on cam with my dick out, and if you're him for 250K? I don't know, man. Like,
dude, well, you know what? And I don't know if that company is a French company. So it was what the hell was it? Cam Soda.
Cam Soda. Yeah. It's not a French company.
It's
I think
not,
that's
okay.
a very prominent like stream, like a cam service.
But you have family in France,
Yeah.
right? So what is the how's the sexuality viewed over there in comparison to here? Are they more open? I
They're
imagine
very
they are.
open. They're not as stuffy as we are. Like, there's things that they wouldn't even view as sexual.
Okay.
Like the way we view. I think Europe in general has a healthier view of sexuality
Sex.
than
Okay.
we do. Yeah, because like you see it even in how they dress, and like where we might go like, oh, it's a little promiscuous because we over sexualize everything in America. They might just go, no, it's fucking hot outside. That's why I'm wearing a bikini top. Like
Gotcha.
it's not. People don't. Dude, I mean, I'm definitely positive that I've told this story on here before. When I was in Europe for the first time, I remember channel surfing and seeing like boobs on TV, and I thought I had ordered some shit on the hotel thing, and I was like in a panic.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was just like normal network television, and then just as ladies' biddies were out, like it was just normal. Like it's just not. It just isn't as overly sexualized the way it is here.
Right. So perhaps posing with your dick out is not such a big deal.
I don't know. I don't think the French should give a fuck. I don't know. But also you're on Cam Soda, which is I think that could be anything. Like you and Cam Soda, it's like OnlyFans, but you're live, right? And so
okay.
you could just be doing nothing. You could just like, hey, just sit there with your dick out and have a conversation and answer questions. Like it literally could just be anything. Like I don't know what the offer was. It's like you have to fuck,
and we'll do a podcast.
Yeah, like we'll do a podcast, but you have to use your dick as the mic the whole time. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what the offer like entailed. Like what do you have to do? But I'd have a tough time turning down $250K. To just whip my dick out. Now, like today, you ask me, I'm not doing it. But I don't have a pole vaulting dick like this guy. But but if you're him, it costs a lot of money to train. You're not getting a lot of money. $250K is a lot. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what your morals and your ethics are like, and maybe you feel some type of way about that, or I've got kids one day, or whatever. Whatever. Everybody has their own thing. But
yeah. I want to close with the Olympic thing on the. You see those two boxers that they were that the media coverage. We're sort of labeling them as two like trans Olympic boxers.
Can you like school me on that, because I heard these stories, but I've only heard the headlines and the quick media, and so I'm ignorant to the actual facts.
Yeah, and so and again, this is our media, and this is what we talk about when we talk about politics or anything else. It's just like everything's fucking clickbait, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah,
and I'm so glad that when I first heard this story or first read this story. And then, like I sort of had a few days to digest it and read some more and do some research and then come to find out like it's all bullshit. Like they're not trans
at all.
They're not fucking trans, bro. So it's two people. One of them's from Algeria, Imaine Khalif, and then the other one's from Taiwan, and Lin Juting.
So they're just ugly.
Like pretty much. Like dude, not for nothing, man. I see both of them, and I watched one. I watched Iman Khalif box.
That's the one that I know the most. Yeah.
So they look like they look manly.
Okay.
They do. So and so apparently they're again. I want to be clear. They're not transgender. Both of these women were born women. There's nothing trans about them. But they were disqualified from the 2023 World Championships for failing to meet sex testing standards, where they basically measure your levels of testosterone.
Okay.
So their levels were higher than normal.
So I guess, for layman's terms, they were born female.
Yes.
They are female and competing with females. However, testosterone levels being higher could be supplements, could be whatever. That could be performance enhancing drugs.
But it wasn't that. It's sort of like and I think there was some like DNA shit too, where they go like, oh, there was like a Y chromosome like detected in like whatever the test that they do.
Okay. And
so
but they have vaginas and they were born that way.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And apparently women can be born with like an XXY. So it's usually XX is women and XY is men.
Okay.
I think you get so then those women have higher levels of testosterone.
Okay.
But that was it. So they sort of failed this test.
So they weren't actually trans.
No, and then so the media labeled them as fucking trans, and they're not.
Oh wow, yeah, because I saw the headlines, I saw the thing.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done any research at all. I assumed those were the facts, right? And so because why would CNN lie to me? And then no, or whoever the fuck it was. I'm just picking on CNN. But the yeah, I'm one of those people who I just saw the headlines and I saw that name and all the time, and of course like social media is on fire because of that. And I'm of the belief that if you were born a man, you shouldn't be allowed to compete in fucking boxing. So I will agree with that. But this person, that's not even a thing.
It wasn't a thing.
It's not even a thing.
It wasn't a thing, dude. But again, like the media, social media, like that shit, it set everybody on fire, man. And it was like, oh, this person shouldn't be doing it. And then what made it worse was that the bout that Amani had first was against this Italian chick, and who quit after like 20 something seconds or 40 seconds, I believe it was. Let me see. Did I write that down? I did not. But she had this bout with this Italian chick, and the Italian chick quit, and she's crying. She's like, I've never been hit like that before. And it's like, oh, like trans boxer is, makes this girl like submit.
And so what's her thing? She's just,
I don't know, man. This chick. So I will say, so far, like Amani is gonna be in the gold medal match.
Yeah, but I mean the Taiwanese chick. What was her thing? She's just.
Oh, I didn't. She just. Oh, so
she's not trans.
Sorry, same
either.
thing. No,
same
exact same thing.
Wow.
Was also disqualified from the world championships due to higher levels of testosterone.
Wow.
Or I should say, failing to meet sex testing standards. And that was from the International Olympic Committee, which is not the same governing body as the.
It's weird, like because there's so much nuance now involved in this, like DNA stuff. But it's like, no, biologically, what were you assigned at birth, and what are your parts, and it would. I don't know. It seems to me that there's a lot of common sense involved in this that we sort of bypass. I get that if you're testing for certain levels of hormones because you think someone's taking a performance enhancing drug, like that's very different to me than that. But yeah, man, that's funny. Wow, I was one of those people who sort of fell for the headline then, because I did zero research. I didn't look at I took it at face value of like, oh, there must be these trans competing and people are sort of in outrage about that. That's literally like, that's been my thought about this the whole time.
Yep.
And again, I was under the belief that, like, well, yeah, that is fucked up. If they really were born,
if they're really doing that, yes,
and doing that,
I agree.
And listen, I know that there's a whole thing of like, yeah, we could. There's hormone therapy and yada yada yada, and we could test them and see that there's levels. Like, we're not gonna get into that now because evidently we're not allowed to sort of even have this discussion. Like, you're transphobic if you say that they shouldn't be allowed to compete, which is asinine. Like, we should be able to have the conversation. You should absolutely not be allowed as a born male to compete in any kind of physical competition in a female,
and especially combat.
Yeah, and if you are, I think we should be open to dialogue about what are the things that we're saying that you need to be able to sort of prove and or a pass or restrictions that you need to adhere to or whatever it may be in order to make this fair for other people, other competitors within that sort of like segment. Like, it just, I feel like that's common sense, but I think anytime you say shit like that now, like, people immediately shut you down as ignorant or like transphobic or like whatever, and it's just like, well, no, like, are you trying to educate me or are you trying to shame me for having my thought? Because if I'm wrong, then tell me why I'm wrong and tell me, like, hey, there's actually all this stuff that they go through or whatever. And then we can have that conversation of, well, then why don't we have that conversation about, hey, yes, you should be able to compete, but under these guidelines. Why is it that the minute anybody mentions that, it's immediately, well, you're a piece of shit and you're transphobic? It's like, no, this should be open to dialogue. This is new territory for everyone involved. Like,
I was just more sort of appalled, man, with the, like I said, with the media. I saw one of the media outlets we're talking about this, and then they bring in Clarissa Shields.
Oh yeah,
to sort of get her opinion about fighting a man, and it was just like, man, like, it's bullshit. Like, it just wasn't that.
Dude, it's funny while you were mentioning that, I wanted to pull up the name here because it sort of goes with this. We're talking about media and like coverage on stuff. This weekend, man, there was a police officer here locally that was gunned down and in a really crazy, bizarre circumstance was basically ambushed.
Ooh, I did read that headline.
Did you read the headline? Okay, so you did see the headline, and I think while we're talking about then about I think media coverage, I think one of the things that disappointed me about this is like I only knew about it because I knew people that sort of like were like in proximity to it.
Oh, really?
Sort of
Okay,
mentioned
okay.
it, and then
So was that nearby?
it's in Eustis, which is
It's not,
yeah,
not
very
too
close
far.
to here, right? Like, and I think the thing that bothered me the most about seeing the story was, we are, and us included, like, I've been very critical of police officers. Obviously, we've been doing this since 2020, like about the COVID time. You know, obviously the George Floyd thing happened,
Right, the whole
and a lot of
BLM
stuff,
movement.
and and we saw a lot of things, and we were very critical. And I've had really horrible experiences personally with police officers and all that. And the media covers that, like just ad nauseum, right? When the police when the police
when they fuck up.
When they fuck up, we cover that nauseum.
Yes.
And I saw this like the story. It's like one deputy was killed, two other ones were critically injured, all this stuff, and it's like,
So what happened?
you don't see media coverage. Well, these I think, long story short, his a guy and his adopted daughters. I'm trying to get the whole story, but they essentially, this woman calls the cops. Then she basically makes up a story about thinking that her neighbors or whatever next door are actually pedophiles, and the cop goes to sort of check it out. He walks into a situation. Once he gets in there, he's sort of killed. And I want to get the police officer's name, because it led to, like, I think there was SWAT there and this whole nine, but a police officer was killed, and I don't know if they're just not releasing his name, because any of the stories
That's
I see,
possible,
they're not releasing his name. I think it's Michael Link, and then other officers were injured. I want to say Michael Link was the one who was killed in the line of duty, and I apologize if that wasn't him and all that, but I think my point was that, like, I hate that this wasn't in any of my social media feeds. It wasn't in any of the news feeds I saw. It wasn't. I had to go out and look for it and Google the story for it to pop up. And it's like, if we're going to say from one side of our mouth of like, hey, we're upset when police officers fuck up and all that, then the media should equally cover the opposite side of this, which is like, you know, these guys go home, or not go home, sorry, they go to work every day, and every day they could not make it home. And I thought it was fucked up that, like,
you're right, Michael Link.
It is Michael Link. Okay, yeah. And so you know, condolences to Michael Link and his family, like, or to his family. Sorry. I just think, you know, you were talking about the media coverage, and I was something that I saw that it was like, it's just very one sided. It's like, if you're gonna cover, if Michael Link had killed those guys,
Oh, that shit would be.
It would have just been playing over and over. The
Yep.
same way we saw the story last week about the cops kill the woman who's you know, had like boiling water or whatever it was, and we were in outrage over that, and rightfully so. And we wanted to talk about the training they receive and all that, and rightfully so. And
But you got to keep that same energy on both sides.
Exactly, and I think that was my point. Is like, I've been very critical of police officers here. I've had very horrible experiences with police officers on here, but I also think on the flip side of that, you have to, I think, cover it equally on both sides. Like, then when one of them gets killed in the line of duty, some piece of shit human being, like, you should cover that. They should be front
Yes.
page. You should have social media coverage. You should, you know, and it just goes to show, I think, to the point you were making about the media coverage, is like, they just sensationalize the things that get the clicks and that are sexy, and they're not there to actually inform you. They're
Right.
there to sell views so that they can sell more ads, so that they can keep people employed, and
Yeah.
so that they can,
And dude, I mean, we
shitty.
see this shit happening now with the political environment.
Yep.
You know, you know, this week, Kamala Harris picks Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, as her VP running mate. But you know, you immediately start to see again depending on which media outlet you're looking at, it's like it's like immediately, like, all the bad shit that, or potentially bad shit that he's done, or things that he's been involved with that have gone, you know, that haven't gone perfectly or have gone bad. You know, they mentioned like the whole like the handling of the like the BLM movement, by him and by Kamala, right? But on the flip side, right, it's like, JD Vance, right? JD Vance is the VP pick for Trump, and whenever he says anything, it's like there's bits and pieces that are taken out of things that he says and then sensationalized on the left, and I'm just like, man, like, can we look at this shit and take this stuff in context and stop nitpicking at or actually picking little things out of what these folks are saying or things that they did, and then just go, oh, look, they're a horrible human being because they said this.
Yeah.
Or, and just again, I just feel like the whole fear mongering, it's the media, and it just depends on which part of the media are you listening to, because if you stay on one, they'll just feed you the shit to make you scared of the other side.
Yeah, dude, I think the thing I compare it to now is that the news has become WWE.
Oh, that's good.
It's like it's fun, right? It's entertaining. Mm-hmm. It's like it's gonna give you your thing, but like I'm no longer looking to be informed. I'm looking to be entertained, or I'm looking to be affirmed. Or we say it all the time. I'm looking for affirmation, not information. It's because what you consume, depending on the channel that you pick to watch your news, you're seeking affirmation instead of information. And it's WWE, right? It's like it's the truth, but it's scripted and it's pushing me in a certain direction, or there's a narrative that they're trying to give me a soap opera, if you will, of that fits sort of their storyline that they've given you over time, and it fucking sucks, because like I think as a country we're very critical of other countries, like communist countries, that like maybe the news feeds those people what the government wants them to see or hear, but it's like we're not getting that far off from that. And I know that sounds like an extreme.
No, we are there, bro.
But we're there in the sense of like the only difference is that we have the option to pick which one we want to follow. Right. But it's like no one is actually giving us like, hey, here's the unadulterated like truth, middle, here are the facts, like without an agenda, right? Like here's what it is. It's like it's basically like the state-run media, except that like you get to pick which state-run media you want to consume, and that aligns with your beliefs, and not be informed, sort of be further groomed to think whatever it is that you already think. Man, it's fucking like,
dude, it's so funny.
Weird. Like, where do you go for information anymore?
It's so funny watching even on both sides, where I'm just like, yo, like, on one side they're just like, oh, like, Kamala was used to be Indian and now she's black, and it's like, no, dude, like she's half black, half Indian.
By the way, that was wild as fuck for him to say.
It's crazy.
She's only been black for a couple of years.
Yeah, right.
Shit I've ever
and
heard.
It's like yo, like she wrote a book, and she has that in her book, like. Stop fucking saying that. And on the same side, like, Trump is not the fucking Antichrist. Like, stop it. Like, he's not gonna become a king and get rid of democracy. Like, fucking stop it. Like, it's not fucking gonna happen.
And you remember, like, you hear that with Trump, and I remember with Barack hearing like, oh, he's the Antichrist, and then all these like biblical fucking lines that were used to prove that, quote unquote.
It's crazy,
and it was fucking crazy. Like, to people where I'm going, you're fucking with me, right? Like, there's no way you believe that, or like the man, I don't know, man. Like, we try not to sway, I guess, people who listen to us one way or another, because obviously we have our beliefs and our thoughts, and we like to sort of stay neutral and stick to the facts here too. But we've had, like, on our own personal stuff, like, and I won't say which one, but we've had our post, I will say, like, from social media, where we might create clips and or even the drink recipes, and we will hashtag certain things that are trending that week, is what we try to do, and trending with the topic or relevant. And what we will say is, what we've noticed, especially lately, is that depending on who you mention, your post is significantly muted. At least it appears that way, right? Like, yes. I don't know factually that it's that way, but it's like awfully coincidental that if I hashtag someone, it feels like I get pushed down to the bottom of the barrel, or it gets deleted for like policy violations.
And we've tested it. And let me tell you, the clips, like, there's not one that, in my opinion, is really better than the other.
Not at all.
Like they're kind of like equal equally funny posts, or maybe to some of you equally not funny.
Right. 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 Dude, but some of them are drinks, and I will go like, okay, that drink wasn't that much better than the other. It'll be a drink, and the only thing that changed was the hashtag, right? It's a picture of a drink. The only thing that changed were the hashtags, right? So obviously I know they're going to show up more, some show up less.
Right.
But coincidentally, if you mention a specific person, you get, and we're talking double the views versus the other one. Mm-hmm. And in one case, a post was just completely removed from feeds entirely, to the point where I looked at it from other accounts and I couldn't even find it.
Wow.
And I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's, whatever, social media companies sort of pushing their agenda. Maybe it could be user error. We just don't know how to use social media.
I doubt it.
It just feels bizarre. And it just feels like no matter where you go, people are trying to sort of shove their beliefs on your throat. When at the end of the day, like, I'd like to think of myself as pretty, like, middle grounded. Like, yeah, there are certain issues that I lean in either direction on that I can be passionate about. But for the most part, my mind can be changed on either front with facts.
Yeah, I'm open to new information.
I'm open to new information all the time. Like, to me, it's funny, man. Like even JD Vance, like, we'll throw that out there. Like, people were ripping JD Vance, and we talked about it on here where he hated Trump. I go, that doesn't even bother me, because if you come out there and you say, I was open to new information, and actually he did XYZ, and that I thought was great because of XYZ, and so it changed my mind. I respect that, because that tells me as a human being you aren't set in your ways, and you are open to new information, and you are open to sort of evolving. I know that's not how he's going to spin it, or maybe he will, but it's like that isn't a turnoff for me. That should be something that for all of us we strive to be. Is like, oh, I am always open to being receptive of new information and changing my mind based on that new information.
Dude, how many times are you told something and you go, fuck, I didn't consider that?
All the time.
Like, dude, it happens
all the time.
It happens all
Dude,
the
you and I
freaking
have
time,
conversations
man.
weekly where you might say something and I go, I never thought about that, right? Like, all the time. And on the flip side of that, I will say that there are things now that even, like, Kamala has come out with, like, in her, not necessarily like policy or things that she believes, but we talked about it last week where I went, no shot, like, Democrats lost. And there are things that that she's said lately, or just the way she's presented herself, or the way she's used social media, or how she's spoken at her rallies, where I'm going, oh shit, like, this might be interesting now, like she might actually have a real shot to win. And I felt like they were hiding her from being VP. And then with new information now, you're going, oh, maybe you were just suppressing her so that she couldn't fuck up because you wanted to save her for that. I don't know what it was. Like, I don't want to give them credit for the strategy, but it's like there was a point in time where I went zero fucking chance, and now I'm going, well, shit, this might have just gotten interesting. And a week from now, I might go zero chance again, right? Like, but as of today, I'm going, this shit is going to be close. And I wouldn't have thought that a month ago, right? So it's just, I think if you're not open as a human being to receiving new information and I guess sort of modifying your thoughts or your opinions based on that new information, like, how do you exist? And you're just sort of like, again, you're just looking for affirmation, not information.
Yeah. And so to go back to Tim Walz, the only thing that I did see about him, I got to do research. Current House member, and obviously governor of Minnesota, Army National. So, and prior to this, right, Army National Guard, non-commissioned officer, public school teacher, high school football coach.
Well, you listen, on paper, I don't know shit about that. I'd never even heard of him until she picked him. So, So full disclosure, didn't know who he was. She picked him, and I thought it was an odd pick. I looked at the picture. I read his resume, like you just did now, and I went, oh, that's actually very relatable to Middle America, and that's actually very relatable to a lot of people that she needs votes from. School teachers. She needs votes from veterans. She needs votes from I'm trying to think of where you were categorized, sort of like the football coach things, but just like that demographic.
You figure it's just like a normal job. Like, those guys are not
middle-aged white men. Yeah. Like just the gamut, whatever. And I went, oh, like, not a terrible pick. I've never heard of him. but I've never heard of him in a negative way.
Yeah.
Right. I've never heard of him in a good way. And on paper, the resume goes, oh, he checks boxes. Like, you can't hate on a guy who's a veteran and this and that. Like, so, you know, less controversial than JD Vance. And this is why I go like, oh shit, like this might get really interesting, because it seems like a very safe, non-controversial pick. Not, you know, or we might hate it as a country because we might go, nah, I want the sexy shit. Give me the guy who's, you know, book is a movie, and JD Vance is that, right? Like, he's that's
true, right?
A bestseller. He's got a Netflix movie. You know, like I could make the argument in the total opposite direction.
Directed by Ron Howard.
Right? It's not a shitty movie that was like made for Hallmark. It's
I haven't seen it. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, no, me neither. But if you go Ron Howard movie on Netflix, you go, oh fuck it.
Yeah, I watch it.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like I can make the exact same argument in the opposite direction. It just depends on what the audience I'm trying to cater to, right?
Right.
And which is the whole point of the conversation. So, I'm interested to see. I've never heard of this guy. I have seen some things out there that he's like been a sponsor, of like esports, which I go, okay, that's going to resonate well with like the young demographic. And you know, everything you just mentioned, so it's like, okay, you check a lot of boxes there. It's hard to you know, a lot of things that come up all the time in public elections. It's like your service to the community. So being a veteran is something that is always, like, I think,
and then public school teacher.
Yeah.
There's another one, right? And
another one, yeah.
Listen, my kids go to public school, and every year, and we just did it today. Every year we go to like the open house.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, man. Like, it's like what excites me when I get into those is when I meet the teachers that seem like they give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, so and I know that there's a lot of things about being a public school teacher, not just the pay, that is probably demoralizing. But the folks that kind of stay in that and are motivated and excited for a new year and new kids and can like ignite those kids, you know, like, I'm like, man, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's you know, I think we do this a lot with like sports, where we say, you know, like, this coach or this person or whatever is like very inspirational, motivational, and we don't do it enough for people like that, like you said, like maybe teachers or coaches at the local level or whatever that do inspire and do sort of help shape the life of your kids or
Yep.
you know, their friends or whatever that is. I'm doing what you're doing or what you did today. I'm going to do that tomorrow, and you know, I can tell you from, you know, firsthand experience, obviously, what the teachers go through in terms of like, that's a profession where you have to care because you don't make money to not care, right? Yep. And then, but also I can tell you from my kids' perspective of the teachers that have helped them and sort of the difference that it has made in, like, I was a terrible student because I just didn't care, wasn't motivated enough. But there are teachers that brought out the best in me because they either challenged me in a way that I went, oh, I enjoyed going to their class because I liked having the debates, or I liked sort of them pushing me about, like, maybe they thought I didn't know something, and even then, like, right, like they brought out the sort of the competitiveness in me where I'm like, well, I do. And you know, like there are teachers who are just really good at that, and you remember those, right? And I've seen that with my kids, especially with my daughter as she got into middle school. You know, I saw like what a lot of teachers for her did, and the one she talked about all the time, we just went, man, like they really did do, like, I saw this student and then I saw this student with this person in their life.
Yep.
And it made a huge difference, man. So you just can't discount like the effect of what like people have in your life, man.
Absolutely,
like,
bro. Dude, how we doing on time?
It's wild. Dude, we're at hour 13.
Really? Let's close it off, man. Hit me up with the Bill Gates shit.
Bro, have you seen this story about, I mean, we know our boy Bill is wild, you know, injecting fucking trackers and, you know, through COVID vaccines and whatnot.
And buying up farms.
So he could steal all the water. If you haven't listened to this shit enough, please understand we're being facetious. Don't cut this up on YouTube and use it as evidence that Bill Gates is a piece of shit.
You see?
The
Footprint
guy said Bill Gates is a piece of shit. But evidently, this is like a rumor, you know, that...
Oh, it's a rumor.
so there's like confirmed sources saying
Okay.
this is a thing that Bill Gates, that young interns were not allowed to be around Bill Gates because of his quote unquote flirty nature.
How young are we talking?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Is that like 18?
Yeah, you would have
20,
to think 18
30?
to what? What are we saying young?
18 to 25?
25? Okay, we'll go 25. So you're not allowed to be around Bill Gates because of his flirty nature. Which, have you ever seen a picture of Bill Gates?
I have.
Okay.
Is he still married?
No. Well,
Right? Did they
no,
split?
don't quote me. No, he is. He
is still married?
I think that. Wait, was Bill Gates? Let me look that up because I think he is. I'm thinking of Bezos is the one that's divorced.
Bezos is definitely divorced.
Yeah.
Bill Gates, I'm not sure, because I know that him and his
By
wife.
the way, you want to talk about marrying up? I don't know. Maybe his wife is a fucking psychopath, the new one. But have you seen
which
Bezos'
wife?
old wife versus his new wife? Which the old wife has been spending money. Why? Like, good for her. Like,
But she's actually very philanthropic.
no, yeah, that's
Right?
she's just giving on her.
She's
Bro,
just
it's
giving it.
easy
She's
to
giving
give
it
away
away.
the money when you haven't earned it. Anyway, it's
But
very easy to give away money you haven't earned.
she was there through the whole process.
Yeah,
people.
whatever. Yeah, okay. Oh, but she had to live in a 4-bedroom house while he was working out of his garage. Anyway,
For shame.
yeah, for sure. She had to drop the kids off at school while he was building Amazon for her. Anyway, shout out. But no, she has done a lot of philanthropic shit. Like, good for her. Gave away a lot of her fortune, so you can't call her greedy, I guess, in a sense. On the flip side of that, you could say like how much money that she actually, like, she has so much money that
Billions,
right? Yeah, so she's giving away $3 billion. It's like, yeah, but she has 400 billion. But anyway, Bill Gates. Hold on, I want to. Melinda Gates was his
digress.
wife, and I've heard Bill Gates it does have like a little bit of a little situation going where he's sort of allowed to do what
an
he wants.
entanglement.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's Melinda Gates is his wife.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and I want to say they're still, they're looks like they're still married. According to the internet, they're still married, and they never lie to me. So who is Bill Gates' girlfriend is
So he
is
can't
the
talk to
thing.
the interns.
So the interns, are not allowed to be around him. Is the thing, and maybe I don't know. Anyway, maybe that
Who is heading?
because he's very and there's been a lot of rumors about
Is it
this. Bill Gates.
Is it the Clippers guy? Is he still heading like
Ballmer?
Microsoft?
No, I don't think he's involved with them at all.
No, at all.
Steve Ballmer? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think he's with
not.
Microsoft at all. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
But Bill Gates, there's been rumors all the time where Bill Gates is like, he gets a little, I guess, fresh and throw shit out there and whatever. I would say, bro, I saw this story and I went, yo, you guys are really, really, like, we are anti-women. You're just always trying to hold them back from being anything ever and making any type of progress. Like, why would you keep a 22-year-old from Bill Gates?
That's right.
Like, let her cook, bro. Let her cook.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. Like, damn.
Is it fucking Belichick just got him in?
Yeah, you
right?
see, bro, Belichick is what, 70 something, and his
Yeah.
girlfriend's like 23, and I'm sure they have a lot in common. And it's just fucking, bro. I saw this shit like, yo, Bill Gates is not allowed to hang out, or they're not allowed to hang out with him because he gets flirty. It's like, who are you worried about in that situation?
Yeah, Bill Gates is taking advantage.
Oh, sorry. If Bill
He's taking
Gates,
advantage of them.
he's gonna be a creepy old man, and then we're gonna have to pay you out. You don't want that. Or the richest man in the world, fucking, depending on the day, ends up trying to wife you up, or you're his girlfriend or his side piece, and you're gonna have to live, like, extravagantly, but you're gonna have to be okay with being a side piece. So we want to keep you from you,
Dude, I would love.
Protect you.
I would love to know, like, how many. Like, if you go, if you look at these interns,
yeah.
and you go, out of the whatever, and again, I'm gonna make this number up. Out of the 100 interns, how many would be willing, or how many are looking to shoot their shot with Bill Gates?
Bro, I mean,
what do you think the number is?
okay, like a percentage?
Yeah, you thinking like half?
Oh, yes, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Now, do you think that because they're going, like he's dying soon, or
Not at all. I think that, bro, as a male, who's okay. I'm trying to figure out a way to word this so I don't sound like an asshole. Yeah. Okay, people shoot their shot at me, right? That I would go, or sorry, like people shoot their shot at me based on whatever it is, right? Like whether they think there's whether
they think you're hot, powerful, fucking charismatic, whatever,
rich, whatever, right? Like, okay, let's throw all those, right?
Okay,
and I'm not Bill Gates. And so I would say that if you're willing to shoot your shot at me, then Bill Gates is on a different stratosphere of that, right? Like my only comparison could be like, oh, I seen what it's like for me. So Bill Gates must have, because I don't want to single out women.
Is it like retarded?
Us in general would I think Bill Gates gets, I think 75% of the females through that internship program would. You don't think so, bro?
No,
Dude, I think
maybe. Listen, I don't doubt any of that shit,
bro. I think we grossly underestimate what security and comfort means to a lot of people, and I think half of us. And half of women are already fucking somebody who ain't shit. So you might as well fuck somebody who ain't shit, and your life is taken care of. You know what I mean? Like, bro,
dude, is it the
females settle so much for guys who ain't shit that it goes like, I could fuck Bill Gates for like, I'm gonna fuck the dude at Wendy's. Like, I might as well fuck Bill Gates. I'm gonna fuck the dude at Wendy's for love, quote unquote. And he's gonna be unemployed and bouncing from job to job. I might as well fuck Bill. Like, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was an intern at Microsoft and Bill Gates was like, give me a handsy and I'll make you executive VP at Microsoft division.
Right.
Bill Gates is getting a hand job from me, bro. I'm gonna be like, Bill, you want a left hand or a right?
I'll be like, Bill, are you Catholic? Shout out to the Catholics out there.
Bro, I just think everybody has their price, but also I just think I've seen, and this is not to single out females, I think both sexes have, like, will do things for certain things. You know, we've talked about this on here before, that like relationships are transactional.
Yeah.
And transactional doesn't have to mean money. It can mean like what it is that you want out of a relationship. You know,
yeah.
it's companionship or whatever that is. Like, absolutely, I think that in a room full of women, I think 75% of them, if they went, I could have a shot at Bill Gates, would absolutely, and it might be higher, take a shot at Bill Gates.
I wonder if at least part of that is, like, you know, men offer, you know, even if you go back, right, like, men offer security, whether it's financial security,
some,
you know, not just saying, like in general,
yes,
right,
like DNA wise, that's what you're programmed to think,
right? So it's like we, you know, we provide, we protect, right? It's just like we offer this secure environment, and then so, like, to your point, if shooting my shot at Bill Gates gets me security, then am I pre-wired to go, oh yeah, that's worth it? No matter what it looks like,
dude. Because even like to that point, Bill Gates might weigh 130 pounds soaking wet, and he's a nerd. But if you're with him, no one's getting close to Bill Gates. Like, you're safe in every situation, right?
You're secure.
So you're secure from a physical standpoint. You're secure from a monetary standpoint. Yep. You know, like, you might have to go deal with the fact that you're not secure from you may not be the only one, right? And maybe that's the thing where you have an issue with. But
and then
some
you probably
people are
don't
willing
care.
to go, you probably don't care, because you go, oh, I live in a 20,000 square foot house, and my fucking stove talks to me like I'm good. Whatever that is.
For those of y'all who don't agree, hit us up on Instagram.
Yeah, for real.
Let us know.
Yeah, like, would you fuck Bill Gates?
And on that, tell them where they can find us.
At the Common Footprint, not fucking Bill Gates. Podcast on Instagram, on YouTube, at the Common Footprint Podcast, on YouTube, Instagram, fucking Facebook. Pretty much all social media platforms except X, where we are at Carbon FP Pod on there, at the Carbon Food Podcast on TikTok, which seems to be very popular, you know, with the people who would probably fuck Bill Gates, but aren't allowed to talk to him,
or vote for Kamala.
Yeah, or vote for But yeah, there. So hit us up, and then all your favorite audio platforms: Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, JioSav Ghana, Pocket Chaser, Pocket Cast, TuneIn, all of them. Deezer. I mean, you name it, we're on there. Yeah, hit us up, and then please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the algorithm and other people find you. Tell your pizza man, tell your neighbor, tell whoever. Hey, these guys are morons. You should check this out, or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. And today, by the time shit comes out, it's gonna be late. Make sure you watch the replay, at least of that 200-meter with Noah Lyles.
Let's go.
And we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.